What's up, guys? Earl at Sumo Bully Kennels. Happy Monday. Today's going to be a good one, interesting one. But before we get to that, want to give a special shout out to our supporters, subscribers, people who watch our content, man. I want to say a very gracious thank you from a humble place, man. You guys really motivate me to keep putting out content to help everybody. And the messages I receive on the site from you guys, thanking us and all this stuff, it's really heartfelt, guys. So I want to really take a moment to say thank you. For the new viewers to the channel, this is how we do it here. Handshake agreement, right? We are committed to providing quality content for you, so it can help your yard, your vision, and everything else, your program. So let's shake on it. Handshake agreement here at Sumo Bully Kennels. Takes you 1 second, right? I'll wait. Like, subscribe, whatever, all that other good stuff. Do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and tap that and show the love and support, right? I want to give a special shout out tonight to my guy, Rags to Riches Kennels, right? Special thanks to you for trusting our process. Reached out to us on Instagram about our dog food. We sent over some dog food to California. He did get it. I was a little upset with UPS for the delay. However, I was more concerned about the food getting there at the quality that it's supposed to get there in, so that you can provide your dogs with quality food, healthy food, to keep them healthy and improve your program. So thanks, brother. I appreciate you so much. All right, without further ado, we got a hot one tonight. Hot topic: how to sell your puppies in productions, guys. I'm gonna apologize because this is going to be a multi-series episode, or against my own will, I'm not going to give you the 10-minute generic. Take some good pictures. Put it on social media. Make sure it's high quality. This, and then make sure you're posting up the puppies and the parents. Guys, come on, man. That's not me. That's not me. I can't do that. So I apologize in advance to bore you with this episode. I'm going to try to get through it as quickly and efficiently as possible so that you understand my standpoint on things. And I really hope it touches you and your program and it helps you. So number one, because I put so much passion and thought into these episodes to help, I really would appreciate it if you watch the whole thing, to be honest, because I want you to get that nugget, right, from the content that we're dropping that will really help your program in your yard. So it means a lot to me to be able to help you, and all the side messages of you guys thanking me for dropping videos really inspire me to continue to do this. So for you guys who've been with us since the beginning, thank you so much. For you new people, doesn't cost you a thing to consume this content and like and subscribe, guys. It's free 99 to you. However, it can make a difference if you truly listen, right? Oof, pardon me. So without further ado, this is a loaded question, guys. One thing is to produce a litter, and the other part is to garner the estimated projected litter price. Let's sit on that one for a second. So you're thinking you're going to sell whatever, 6 pups for $5,000 a piece, $30,000. That's what I'm talking about. The estimated projected litter price, right? To put things in perspective, all litters have a cost, such as stud fees, holding costs for the female, right? To raise that female, what the female costs to purchase, to raise her, the medicals, the shots, the crops, progesterone testing, reverse progesterone testing, the time it takes to take your dog there and back to get the semen, to get a TCI done or an AI done, along with so many other things, guys. This is very time consuming, and also none of it is free. Newsflash. So I won't get into the cost but I want to get into the marketing today of what things should be sold for. So this is a very interesting episode, guys. If you stay with me, I promise you guys I'm going to get to it. But again, this is a multi-series episode. So this episode's kind of the preface of things. And it's very important because it sets the stage for us as dog breeders who sell puppies or stud fees, so forth and so on, right? So it's very cumbersome. And if it wasn't, then I could do a 10-minute video and nobody would be in a position that they can't sell puppies, right? Which is not true. In our industry, there's people who can sell dogs and who can't sell dogs. That's why I'm covering this topic, because it's very important. Just because you produce a litter doesn't mean you can sell it. And so I'm going to give this topic the respect it deserves and really break it down, guys, in depth, right? So the topic is how to sell the puppies, right? And the reality is marketing, right? Let's start by defining marketing. Marketing is the activity or business of promoting or selling a product or service, including the market research and advertising. That's what marketing is, right? And there are 4 basic marketing principles. So let's establish a baseline. The principles of marketing are product, price, place, and promotion. What does it really mean for us breeders? Well, the title is How to Sell Your Puppies, right? So sales should be a part of this conversation. However, sales happens later. So let's go over that, right? Sales is a byproduct of good marketing. Sales is a process by which an exchange of goods and services is exchanged for fair market value, right? You buy, I don't know, a number one, a burger with fry and a drink, right? If every fast food chain in the area charges whatever $7.99 for it, then that's the fair market value, right? However, if you are special in the fast food industry, let's just say, and you charge $1 more because you have number one position in the marketplace, that's your value position. I hope that makes sense, right? And I'm trying my best to simplify this where we're not going like super crazy, but the reality is sales occurs when the correct market strategy is implemented and the product holds true to the marketplace value. So back to my example of everyone selling that number one for $7.99, and I pull up to your establishment and yours is $18.99. For fast food, I think you are a little overpriced, right? Unless you're a specialty chain or something like that, a boutique kind of place. But even that, you would have a hard time selling that product in a drive-through against other fast food chains. So my point is to establish a baseline, guys, of sales and marketing. So, let's review some specific examples for our industry real quick. Pardon me, I have a chest cold. So, let's just do in theory, guys. However, this in theory is very realistic. In theory, right? You bought a 10K dog and you bred that 10K dog to a 10K dog stud. Does the value, should it produce 10K price puppies? Do you agree or disagree? I agree and disagree, to be honest with you. In our industry, pedigrees matter. They really do. If they didn't matter, then why would we even read them? Why would we care what dogs produce what and where they came from? So understanding the importance of pedigree and its respective place in our marketplace, right? So you put up some pups and no one sees the pedigree. Well, they look like any other pups that are 8 weeks old. They're chubby, they're cute, they're adorable. They probably pee and poo and they smell. That's the reality of puppies, right? So pedigrees didn't matter and parents didn't matter. Well, then why do we even do it? So understanding and respecting pets, phenotype matters, guys. Newsflash: the status, the status of a dog in the show place matters in terms of the mom or the dad. And I'm talking about in-show champion or grand champion and things like that, titles and accolades. Those things matter because there is a breed standard. The breed standard says our breed should look like this and conform to this. And a dog that can achieve a champion status conforms to the breed standard at the highest capacity, right? It's the true expression of the breed standard. So that's why pads matter, the phenotype matters, and the placement of the dog in terms of show. It really does matter, guys. So to me, a dog can't all be pedigree, right? So let me play devil's advocate real quick. Because a dog that's all peds, right? As they would say, all go, no show, doesn't cut it for me either. What do I mean? Let's do example one. Okay, let's say you have a dog A, we'll call it dog A. Killer pedigree. But as an adult dog, the dog is leggy, lanky, lacks breed type, 2 or more major flaws. My question for you is that would you buy a puppy from that female, right? And let's just say, I'll throw a caveat out there. The same dog A, you took her to a fire stud, proven stud, that's well known in the industry. Would you pay 10K for a puppy off that litter is my question to you. Take a moment and digest that, right? The male is this way, the female is that way, right? My answer is going to be no, guys. For me, no. It's a no for me. That's my opinion, and I'll get into it why. But before we do that, let's get into example 2. Let's say, call it dog B, right? Dog B exhibits the breed standard. Clean, correct, bully, but a little bit scatterbred, right? And then you take her to an average male, decent male, not a super big name, not a, super producer. Quality blood, let's just say. Would you pay 10K for that puppy? My answer is still no. But that's just me. In the hierarchy of things, phenotype is number 1. Why? Because I don't care how many times King Kong shows up on that pedigree. If the dog looks like a giraffe, it's a giraffe. Sorry. Not sorry, right? So I want to touch on COI and COR. 1 second here. I blow my nose, guys. Sorry. I told you guys I got a chest cold. So COI, coefficient of inbreeding, and COR, coefficient of relationship. Both of these guys are major factors in deciding to purchase a puppy because they both directly affect the outcome of how that puppy is going to turn out. So let's do this. Let's take a step back and reverse engineer this thing, right? So why are you buying a puppy? Right. So now look at it, flip it around from the buyer's point of view. Are you buying a puppy because of the mom or the dad? Right. Maybe. If the mom, is she an outcross? Is she line bred? Possibly inbred? Same thing with the dad. Is he an outcross, line breed, or possibly inbred? More importantly, what is the COI of the parents, coefficient of inbreeding? And what is the coefficient of relationship in the parents? Because if you have two nicely line-bred dogs, but they have zero denominators in coefficient of relationship, you still have an outcross. Question is, which one's going to dominate, right? And if you don't have an embark and you didn't do your math, then you really don't know which one is really going to dominate, especially if you're specifically buying a puppy because you're pursuing a certain bloodline or a look. That's where this all matters, right? So example 2, loosely line-bred dogs with a high COR, right? Probably going to get a better phenotype than an outcross. So why am I speaking all this on an episode where we're talking about how to sell puppies? Well, before we can even go into selling puppies, let's understand who, what, why, where, and how, right? I could just give you a cheap answer and be like, yeah, you bought your girl for $5K. You paid $5K for a stud fee, sell those puppies for $5K, right? And then when you're not selling the puppy, and then you comment on my the things and say, hey, man, you said if I bought a girl for $5K and paid $5K for a stud, that I should be able to sell $5K puppies, and you're stuck with all these puppies. That's what I don't want to do. That's why I don't want to give you guys a generic answer, right? I'm trying to really break it down for you guys. So, sorry. Let's get back on topic. So you're asking $10K for a puppy, right? Explain to me why. Why? Because the bloodline is whatever, you know. I don't want to name no kennels because that's not what our platform is for. Because you bought a first or second pick from that kennel, a big name kennel, and you took it to a high-powered stud. Is that a reason why you're demanding that price? Because I could tell you that's the reality of what most people do, right or wrong. For me, if you can't explain to me why these puppies cost the price you're charging, well, why would I buy it? Which is the bigger reality of things. Why would I pay $10K for yours, right? That you bought a first pick from somebody else and use another stud when I can buy a first pick from that same person, or in fact use that stud to one of my girls for the same $10K. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because that's a very, very important driving point. Example for me, right? And I'll say for me specifically is I would pay $10K for a puppy. I would, and I have, and I paid more. A puppy that is line bred and has a high COR, coefficient of relationship, with the dogs that are anchor bloodlines in my yard, that puppy is worth 8, 10, 12K to me. If it aligns with what I have, and of course everything I have I handpicked, then yeah, it makes sense, right? Because it's saving me time. On the flip side, I would not pay 10K for that puppy if it's an outcross and it has a low coefficient of relationship, low coefficient of inbreeding against the dogs that are already an anchor point in my yard. Because why am I buying that dog for? Now I gotta take 2 steps back to breed it back to something in it I'm following in a pedigree before I can outcross it to my dogs. You're talking about 3-4 years. No, you couldn't even give me that dog. What would I do with it? So let's say you gave me the dog for free. I gotta wait 2 years for that female to grow up. Then I gotta take her on a first breeding back to something in her mom or dad's height that I like, that's related in my yard, if there is any. And then I got to wait for that production to hit 2 years. You see what I'm saying? That's 4 years right there. That dog has no business in my yard. And if I bought that dog, I should, won't say it, but I should really kick myself in the butt. Because it doesn't make sense at all. It's not how you establish consistency, right? There's a time to outcross, guys. Outcrossing is super necessary, but not when you're trying to do that, right? And I hope that makes sense. So, however, again, I'll play devil's advocate. If this is the first dog you're buying and you're centering your acquisitions around this dog, it's particularly, then in that case, it absolutely makes sense, right? Just a perspective, right? Because, again, guys, I'm not saying one thing is better than the other. I'm saying we have to think, right? Ultimately, what we acquire and use as building blocks on our yard as a foundation are the raw products we use into creating the puppies we're going to sell. So this is, even though it's not directly or indirectly, this is part of marketing. And marketing leads to sales. And the title of this video is How to Sell Your Puppies. So if you've selling outcrosses upon outcrosses upon outcrosses, and you're garnering a price equal to or higher than the original person that you got the dog from, you may want to consider your product price in the marketplace, and there might be a reason why you're not selling your dogs for the price you want to sell them for. Perspective. Now, you're going to get people out there who are going to buy what they want to buy because they can. However, there are a lot of very savvy consumers out there looking for something specific. And these type of buyer profiles, right, are going to buy something that makes sense for them, something that makes sense for their life and their yard. And that's a very good buyer to have because that person knows what they want. And if you have what they want, then they're not just tire kickers, asking for discounts and things like that. They know the time, effort, capital, and everything that you put into this. And so to get a piece of that, they understand and respect the process. And therefore, they appreciate a person like you who has a commodity, a product in the marketplace that fits their vision. See what I'm saying? It's really perspective, guys. So, how to sell your puppy basics, I guess. Just go over a few key factors. And again, this is a very cumbersome topic, and it's so hard to cover. Number one, I'll ask you is, how does your production stack up against other productions in the current marketplace, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's say you have a litter and I have a litter. We have different females. We both use the same, popular stud A, right? Popular stud A. Who has the better female? Whose female has the better coefficient of inbreeding? And whose female has the higher coefficient of relationship as a denominator? Right? In my opinion, the better female with a higher COI and a higher COR to that male is going to garner a higher price, is going to sell out faster. It's very industry specific. And so when you paired up and you pick that popular male who everyone is using, and you do market analysis of your competition, how does your female stack up against the other females that stud's going up against, especially if we're all dropping litters within 4 weeks of each other? That's one to consider, guys. At this point of this episode, I'm not going to tell you what that price is because we have to consider a lot of factors. My next question to you is, what is the price of entry for the bloodline that you have? What's prevalent on your yard? And how much are those puppies from the main breeder who carries that bloodline? Is it 7? Is it 8, 10, 15, 20? Right? And did you take that dog to something equal to, greater than, or less than in terms of pricing, concentration, and just being a well-bred program overall? And I go over this because this is what marketing does as a tool. Marketing analyzes all these things I'm talking about to come up with the correct marketing price for your product in the marketplace. I mean, what's the range, right? The caliber dogs you have. Did you buy top picks, highest end dogs? Did you get the mid-range dogs? Middle of the ground? Did you get the low end dogs? Last picks. That's a perspective that you have to understand. There is a difference between first pick and last pick, and you can clearly tell with a puppy. So if you have a last pick and you're writing the name of the dog or the breeding, but you also did not get the best expression of that breeding, and somebody else has the same age dog, except they have the first pick female, which looks a lot better than yours, where is your pricing compared to that person? And let's say they took it to the same male. So you have a last pick female, number 6, against number 1. Cream of the crop, exhibits, the pairing to the best capacity, and you both take it to the same male, and both your girls are delivering and coming heat at the same time. Where do you stand with your price? See, a lot of it's perspective, guys, and it's easy to say that, oh man, the market's saturated, I can't sell dogs, or people are just not spending the money. This can be true. However, it's also a lot of factors involved in it, right? And this is what marketing does for us. So, I'll give you an example, right? You can't be higher or equal to the person you bought the bloodline from, because that would be like me buying a soda for more than what the store charges for it, if you get my drift, right? Number 2, if you're perpetuating a bloodline or outcrossing it, which one is it? Depending on how you answer determines your price point, right? If you're bringing in a hybrid outcross that hasn't been done and you didn't back it with math and research, what is the value of your experiment? Because in essence, you're asking people to invest in your experiment, right? If you don't even know what it's going to be, how do you expect someone to invest in it? This is what I meant by this topic is so cumbersome, and I've watched a lot of content on this topic that is honestly basic and generic. So be patient with me as we're almost there. Let me leave you guys with some key takeaways from this episode. Oftentimes, products in the marketplace are either overpriced or underpriced in our industry, and that's a big reality of things. Rarely is it ever priced correctly or just right, because if it was, there would be no overage or underage for that fact. And this has to do mainly for the lack of correct marketing to establish product value in the space. So people will say they're having problems selling puppies, right? I would say why? The simple answer is no marketing. No marketing plan was ever put in place to establish the product, the price, and the demand for that production. However, someone geeked out about a few dogs, got a couple of deals here, and has a vision to create something else, which is great. I love that. I love innovation. I'm all for innovation. But if you didn't put the thought into marketing and everything else, now you put so much time, money, resources into something that you're stuck with basically, and have to discount in order to get it off your hands. And oftentimes when we do that, the dogs don't end up in the best places they should. And it's a black eye on us as a community, as breeders, because we gauge the market wrong. And, just to get up from under that litter and make our money back, we're selling these dogs for less than what they should be to people who shouldn't even have them. And that's why overall as a community, it can really hurt us, guys. And that's why I drive this content to, get us to think about what we're doing and really center ourselves so that we can be an asset to the community and do better by these dogs. Crazy part is, I have more people buy dog food from me than they do business plans. I'll put that out there. And I'll revert back to it. It's a very cumbersome topic, guys. I inspire you guys to think. I inspire you guys to listen and really digest that information so that you can self-reflect, look at starting your program or looking at your program for what it is today so that you can improve it. And I believe thinking about what you're going to do and planning for it is a major thing. Quite simply, it's like this. Before you build a building, you have to draw plans, blueprints, and everything else, right? You don't just okay, we're going to build a building in this lot, this vacant lot, and just put it up. It's specific towards what the building is going to serve the public or the business, right? So it starts with understanding the purpose of the land, what's going to be put on there, and then blueprints in order to build this thing. And that's what I mean by us thinking and having a overall better plan for our programs. Because I believe in planning, you take that one closer step towards success and really prioritizing how to move your vision forward. Because we all have creativity and an awesome vision that we could add to this community. But I think some of us are lacking some of the fundamental things that are super necessary, right? Oof. So with that said, guys, this is an in-depth subject matter, how to sell your puppies. I will cover it, and this might take me 2 or 3 episodes. I just felt like to give you a generic answer I wouldn't be true to myself, and I would be doing you guys a disservice by doing so. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, you already know, hit, tap, 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 all that good stuff. The dog food, we're rocking it out. Appreciate that. I'm going to stay on this topic until we close this out because I really want you guys to understand the proper way of pricing your pups in the marketplace and how to sell them. Because I think that fixes a lot of the problems in our industry, to be honest. So, with that said, guys, apologies, guys. I got a chest cold. Wanted to drop one because this is very important to me. And a lot of you guys reach out to me about this, about selling pups and things like that. And so gathering my thoughts and the questions that I respond to, this is a big one. How to sell your puppies and how much. So with that said, guys, this would be part 1 of at least 2 or 3. Don't quote me on it. Or let's